Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's vlog, I wanted to do my little intro here for my cozy books reading vlog. I will be reading books that give me cozy vibes. So for the books that I'm going to be reading for this vlog are Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. I've heard many things about this book, especially that it gives you cozy vibes, second chance romance, childhood friends to strangers to friends to lovers, something like that. Also Funny Feelings by Tarah Dewitt. Only When It's You by Chloe Leese. I really want to read this one. I've heard great things. I've heard it's very swoon worthy, and there is disability rep, which I always love. And lastly, I have Tattered Stars by Cowles. This author I have seen everywhere. Everybody loves her, and I just want to see what the gist is about. I want to see what the hype is about. I want to see what this small town romance author has got to deliver. I know I have 5 books that I said I want to read for this reading vlog. I'm giving myself a minimum of 3 of them, but I want to give myself options. So yes, but anyways, I am currently reading Funny Feelings by Tarah Dewitt, and I want to give you guys an update. I am actually really loving this book so far. I read the author's note and I read the comedians that she gave credit for, and I think this book is going to be really funny. It's already funny. I can't remember what chapter I'm at. I think I'm like 30% of the way in. I'm loving the main female character and I'm loving the main hero. So the main hero's name is Meyer and the main heroine's name is Farley Jones, I believe. And she's super funny and she's super great. Single dad, single parent. The main hero has a deaf daughter and they use obviously sign language to communicate. And I just love that in books. The main heroine deals with, I think, like depression, anxiety, imposter syndrome, you know, the works. Also, this has fake dating, which I did not know this book had fake dating, but I'm here for it. I'm eating it up. Let me regroup. I'm also cooking lunch right now, but let me regroup and I will be back to update you guys with more incisive thoughts. Let me go through my annotations and then I will be right back. Okay, so I have my iPad with me. Sorry if the angle is a little off. You're on my couch currently and I have to face this way because the window's this way. So I am on chapter 12 in Funny Feelings. I'm 36% of the way in. I am honestly loving it. I have already laughed out loud. I love Meyer. I love Farley. I love their little meet cute. I thought that was very organic, very just real, and I loved that their first meeting she was able to meet his daughter. If you guys read this book then you know what I'm talking about, but yes, I loved that. And I just honestly I love the pining. Farley has literally been in love with this man since she first met him, and I feel like it's vice versa. I feel like Meyer has been in love with her since they first met, and it was like one of those where he put Farley first because he was gonna tell her how he felt before he became her manager, but then something happened and he decided to put his feelings on the back burner and put Farley first and put her career first. So yes, not only is it single dad, the heroine is a comedian and the hero is her manager, so it's a workplace romance, forced proximity. Again, single dad, which I love. I have to keep saying it because he is such a good dad and I'm only on chapter 12. He used to be a comedian as well before he had to let it go because he put his daughter first. So he's a very selfless man and I'm eating it up. They're using this PR stunt of them dating to the public so she could get more traction on her first comedian tour. He was nervous about it and she was nervous about it, and they're both nervous about it because they both like each other but they both don't say nothing, but now they have to pretend to like each other, and the feelings, the angst, the tension, the chemistry. Something that I am loving is that it goes from back and forth, from now to then, how they met and how their feelings progressed in the past and to where they are now, where they are fake dating. So girl, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. One thing that I love that authors do in their books is when they use the title in a sentence in the book, or in the book in general. Chapter 2, page 28, I highlighted it because she did it, and Farley says to Meyer, I'm pretty sure it's the first time they meet, first time, she says, excuse me babe, okay, she says, I've got a funny feeling this is the start of something great. I was eating it up. I was like, yep, And it is so funny, like the banter back and forth. I mean, they're comedians, so like, I mean, their comedy, like the way that they do jokes is different, but it's so funny. There was this one part that had me dying. It is so good. Like, I'm really loving it. It's hitting very much 4-star right now. I mean, I'm only on chapter 12, so you know, shit could go awry. And there's so many good quotes. I guess I'll just stop there because I'm only on chapter 12, so if I have something else to say, I'll make sure to update you guys today. I'm hoping to finish it today as well. We'll see how that goes, but yeah, I'm really loving it so far. I did end up doing a poll on my IG, so if you guys aren't following me on there, on my bookstagram, on my stories, so you guys can go ahead and have like an opinion on what I should read next. I did do a poll. I put all of the cozy reads that I have that I mentioned at the beginning of this vlog on a poll, and this one won by far. Like, people really wanted me to read this one, and I'm super excited because I'm loving it, and for good reason. And it is giving very much cozy vibes because I think right now they're in October, November, around there, so very cozy. I'm loving it. Try to match my shirt to the cozy vibes. Also, the cover is so cute. I'm really hoping I love it so I can buy it paperback. When falling in love is the punchline. And she's wearing her little boots that he loves with the flowers, and it's rainy, and with the mic. Oh, it is so good. It is so good. And I'm also, whenever I highlight, I'm highlighting with orange just because I feel like it looks cute that way. But anyways, besides the point, I'm rambling at this point. I'm so sorry. I will update you guys when I have something more to say. Okay, so I just finished reading a little bit of Funny Feelings, and I'm on chapter 22. I'm 63% of the way in, and y'all, I am dying. You know when the hero goes on a rant about how much he loves the heroine? That just happened, and I just can't stop smiling. I literally can't. I literally highlighted it because I was like, this man, literally, I had to highlight all of it because it was just too good. It was just too fucking good. But yeah, when the hero goes on a rant about the little things that he notices about the heroine that only he notices, and they're all just so cute, like little things, and then you add it to the moment that they're having and the angst and the tension, and then he says all of that. They literally have not gotten together yet. I'm 63% of the way in, like I said, and they've had, you know, they've kissed because, you know, fake dating, but they've kissed as well as in like outside of the fake dating. You know, they had this little moment in the hotel room, and the shit that he says after this moment in the hotel room too. I mean, everybody who's read it highlighted it because, you know, when you reading on your Kindle and it has the dash lines, like there's a certain amount of people who have highlighted it. You know how it's underlined before you highlight? Yeah, this scene, bitch. I am just living. I'm really just living for this book. Y'all was right. Y'all was right about this book. I'm going to continue reading and then hop back in here if I have any more thoughts or like just stuff that I need to rant about. Why do I start every video with y'all? I cannot wait until Farley and Meyer get together because I just have a feeling that this man is gonna be like alpha as hell once they get together. I'm telling you. Hi guys, welcome back. Not a bug flying in here. Y'all see that? Anyways, I am on here because I wanted to update you guys on the last book that I was reading, which was Funny Feelings by Tarah Dewitt. I ended up giving this book 5 stars. Like literally, that book is literal perfection. Literal perfection, except for the epilogue. I got some beef with the epilogue, but literally this book is perfection if you just take the epilogue out of it. I had to give it 5 stars. There was no other possible rating. There there was just so many things that I loved about this book. Like, how do I name them all? First off, the relationship between them, it was friends to lovers, and the secret pining that they both had towards each other, and the fact that he kind of did something for the heroine for her benefit and was there for her and decided to become her manager basically instead of telling her like how he feels. He really stepped up because he knew that that's something that she needed. I also loved Farley because she had this ambition and she was just so confident when she was on the stage, and she was funny, she was caring, and she was just genuine, and you could see it in the book. And I just fell in love with both of them. I thought both of them were equally like beautiful together. They are literally soulmates. I loved that the hero had a daughter, and I loved how she was also portrayed in this book. Like, I wish children were portrayed like this in this book a lot more, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes when authors use young characters in their books, that they give them this more like adult personality. Anyways, besides the point, I thought it was done amazingly in this book. So good. The tattoo, if you've read this, then you know what I'm talking about. But that tattoo, oh my god, that shit had me in a chokehold. The fact that this bitch was getting pleasured and he hadn't gotten some even after the fact yet, and he was like patient, and it wasn't like that. It was like solely for the heroine. What else? Absolute perfection, literally. Oh, another thing that I'm gonna mention before I talk about the epilogue, I absolutely loved the way that the third act breakup happened, because it wasn't a breakup. It was literal real life communication and boundaries set, and them figuring it out over time, like working to be together and to continue to be in each other's lives. Honestly, for what the third act breakup was, I thought that it was handled just so good. Like, it was just handled perfectly. They communicated, they set boundaries, they decided how they were going to move forward, and so and so. And I loved it. I loved it so much. It's so good. I want that book in my hands. Okay, so yes, now let's talk about the epilogue. The reason why I didn't like the epilogue was because it was an interview form where they tell you that she's like pregnant, and then like it's with her and Murray, what is his name, the hero? And it was like interview format, and I was just not here for it. I was like, no, what kind of epilogue is that? I want to see my couple together. Like, I want to see my couple happy. I want to see the wedding. I want to see the baby making. I want to see the babies. I don't want an interview to tell me that you're happy. I want to see it. You know what I mean? But other than that, loved this book. 5 stars. Definitely read it if you haven't. Definitely cozy vibes. Yeah, it's perfect timing. I am probably gonna I'm gonna post on socials, and I'm gonna make a story to see what book y'all pick for me to read next. So I'm going to see about my next cozy read, so I can come back on here and update you guys on what I'm currently reading. That is my update on Funny Feelings. I will be back on here or tomorrow to let you know what book I'm going to read next. But yeah, you guys, I am super excited. Let me just stop talking because I've been talking for 12 minutes, and I'll see you guys shortly. Hi guys, so I'm here to do an update on this cozy small town romances reading vlog. I'm changing up the name because most of these are small town, and it just makes sense to put that in the title. I don't think I said that in the intro, but that's what it is. But it's giving cozy vibes. I, first of all, did my nails, so if I'm waving my hands around, it's because I'm feeling myself. But also, you guys, okay, this vlog, it's gonna be a little bit ranty because I have finished multiple books since the last time you guys saw me in this vlog. So I need to update you guys on all of these small town romances that I have been reading. I was moving, I feel like I keep saying that, but I was moving, so I was reading books, but I also didn't have time to like update, and or I didn't have makeup on, or I just was looking ridiculous, and I was just like, well, I'm not gonna hop on camera. Like, if I'm not ready, it's less likely for me to hop on camera because then I just don't feel put together. And first of all, I'm in my office, but all you guys can see with the way that my office is set up is just like my wall. But eventually when my office is like finished, we're gonna have something in the back, you know? We're gonna have something cute, hopefully, if my vision pans out. After I finished reading Funny Feelings, I ended up putting on my Instagram a poll that you guys should choose my next read. And the one that ended up winning was Tattered by Cowles. And now, I finished this book yesterday. But I started this book... Y'all, I have a bone to pick, okay? Honestly, not really though, because I think it must have just been the time. Like, I might have been in a slump because I had 2 5 stars in a row, and then I picked the Tattered Stars up, and it was not hitting. I can tell you that, y'all. It took me 10 days to finish that book. I started it October 10th, and I finished it last night, October 20th. I honestly, truly think that it was because of the fact that I had 2 5 stars in a row and I was kind of in a slump. I was reading a lot of novellas, and then I had picked that book up, and it was just kind of, it felt to me that it was slow moving, and I didn't believe the relationship. I didn't see the emotional connection. I knew why they had this connection because of what happened in the book, but I didn't believe the relationship, if that makes sense. And I wasn't connecting to the characters. I wasn't really invested in the story. The story has this suspense element to it. It's like romantic suspense, I think. Oh, it's not thriller, it's like suspense, because they're trying to figure out somebody's stealing women or trying to kidnap women. But also Everly, the main heroine, she is part of this like cultish family, and like her father kidnaps this little girl. This little girl is like missing for a while, and then Everly like decides that she's like, this is wrong, like she doesn't want to be here, and she like rides on her horse into town because she lives like 30 minutes away from town, and she rides to the small town and reports to the police that she knows where that missing girl is. And so she outs her father, and her father gets prison time, and then her whole family hates her. Not really her mother, but her mother was very complacent. I want to say that she was weak, but she wasn't weak because of the circumstances that she was put into. She just didn't have any more fight in her, I guess I could say. And so Everly ends up moving away, and then when she comes back is because her mom left her that house and that land and the barn and the cabin and everything. Her brother is still in this family cult. They're like we don't believe in laws, and it was so bad. Like, it's very much misogynistic. It is very much giving misogynistic. Like, it was just honestly not the vibe. Just not the vibe. I wasn't really enjoying it, and like, I don't like that. I understand why it was in there because I mean it's real life. Even that like plot wasn't carrying me through the book. Like, I didn't care. I finished the book for this vlog. I'm giving it 3 stars, but it's very much giving like 2.5. But also I just feel like it was probably the time that I read it. The time that I picked it up, I did it a disservice. The writing wasn't bad. Overall, it's a 3-star book. I don't want to say that I enjoyed it because I didn't. So that's why I'm giving it 2.5. Will I ever reread it to see if I like it better the second time around? Probably not, because I also didn't love the relationship. If I had like loved the relationship, maybe I would have picked it up again, but I don't know. Like, it was just very unbelievable. The way that, what's his name, Hayes, like pulls up to her house the first time like she's there, and he like yells at her. I was like, okay, so this is about to be like enemies to lovers, because Hayes is the brother of that little girl that her father kidnapped, you know what I mean? But it's not even enemies to lovers. He like apologizes the next day, and then it's like, I feel different for her. Like, she is so different. Like, I feel this connection. I was like, boy, if you don't stop right now. I feel like it was very much like trauma bonding. Like, they went through the trauma together, so automatically they belong together. I don't know. Enough said. I just didn't enjoy it. Will I continue in this series? Right now, no. In the future, I do hear that it gets better, but I just like right now, it's not really my thing. Maybe I'll check out other Cowles books. The smut was also not that great. It was just kind of like, I don't know. It just wasn't for me. This series in particular probably will not continue it. Maybe I'll check out a different series by her. I'm giving it 2.5, rounding it up to a 3 on Goodreads. Enough of that. I'm done talking about it. Now, I am going to let y'all go because I need to go get coffee, because the way that my kitchen is set up right now, it's just, I'm not fully unpacked yet, and like all my coffee stuff is unpacked, but the way that I don't like any of the creamers that I have, I'm just gonna go get coffee here down the street. I live really close to a Dunkin', so I'm just gonna go get me some Dunkin', and then I will update you guys on the third book that I read for this vlog. I already read it. So I'm gonna update you guys on that third book. And then I am actually currently reading Love in Other Words. According to Goodreads, I'm 24% in and I am loving it. Like, I am loving it. And I haven't picked up a physical book in so long. I have been reading straight Kindle, or straight iPad, straight phone. Like, I just haven't picked up a physical book in a while. And like, first of all, my nails with this book, it's giving fall. I'm loving it. I love it. I need to cut my nails though, because I need to make them shorter because I have a typing job and it just don't work well for me. But I am also currently reading this book and I am tabbing it and I'm having a good time. The only thing about this book is that I really, really hope that the reason why they were separated for 10 years, it better be good. Because if it's a stupid reason, it's just gonna ruin the whole book. But I also don't have any predictions of why they didn't talk for 10 years. But at the same time, like, I'm low-key like loving it. Like, I love Elliot so far. The fact that he broke up with his girlfriend the day after he saw her, that's dedication. That is love. He loves her. He loves her. He is like literally in love with her, and she is like literally in love with him, but she left. Sorry, my chair is like so annoying. That's why I'm like, this reason better be literally like the worst thing that could have happened to her. Because also I am loving that her mom is Brazilian. I think her mom is Brazilian. So like, representation, I love that. Paints a clear picture. Yeah, she's Brazilian. And I love her. I love her dad. Okay, why did this turn into an update on Love in Other Words? Let me not. I will go through my tabs with you at a later time in this vlog. But yeah, anyways, I'm loving it. With my coffee, I get a caramel swirl iced coffee with cream and sugar, basic as hell. I am a caramel girl. What's your favorite flavor of coffee? Let me know, because I know a lot of people like vanilla, but I am a caramel girl. I just am. Oh, yeah. They did good. Sometimes Dunkin', you never know. Okay, so I'm back and I want to talk about Heartless because I did end up reading this. This book came out October 14th and I had forgotten that it had came out October 14th because I was moving, and I seen at the Love Librarian and at Elsie's bookstagram post about it, and I instantly downloaded it because it's on KU, and I read it. I binged it in that same day. I read it. It was a masterpiece. I do though feel like I want to reread this book because when I was reading it, I feel like my mind was somewhere else, but like I was also invested, and I didn't read it in one go. Obviously, like I had to do other things, but I read it that day, and I do want to reread it because I feel like there's so many more like annotations that I want to make. There's so many more scenes that I just want to go back and appreciate. If you guys don't already know, if you haven't already guessed, I gave this book 5 stars. This book is literally a masterpiece. It is literally perfection. I don't think there's anything that I would change about this book. No, I wouldn't. I love Elsie Silver's writing, and you know what I think it is? I think she does a really good job of having our characters together most of the book. Literally like 99% of the book, the characters are together. There is never like, there's never like, I mean, obviously there's like outside things like, you know, Kate's family and Willa's best friend, Summer from the first book, Flawless. You guys know how I feel about Flawless. If you guys want to see how I feel about Flawless, I will link that reading vlog up here in the cards for you guys to go watch after this vlog. But I gave that book 5 stars. I loved it as well. And this book was no different. This is the forced proximity. She is Kate's nanny because Kate is a single dad. And you know what I'm starting to realize is that I live for forced proximity. It is so good. The way that Kate is so grumpy is definitely Grumpy Sunshine. He's just so grumpy and he like refuses to let anyone in. And it's like so understandable because he went through a lot and he had a lot of trauma. Like I felt so bad. It literally broke my heart, the reason why he had all this baggage. And you know, he has so much love for his son. You could see that Kate fell in love with Willa when Willa started falling in love with Luke. And when he started seeing their interactions and the way that Luke would be just enamored with Willa, he couldn't help but start like seeing her in a more permanent light. Also, another thing that I loved, Elsie Silver does a really cute meet cute. It is so funny. It's like this meet cute before they know each other and who each other is and who Willa's gonna be to Cade, because she like stops for coffee and he's in line behind her, and when you see his thoughts, I was eating that shit up. I loved that book so much. The hot tub scenes, the sexual tension, the banter back and forth. I was literally laughing. The way that Willa describes Cade in like his Wrangler jeans, I was like, I literally can't. I was melting. I was giggling. I couldn't stop smiling. Like, I loved that book. It is so good. I also felt like the conflict was really well done. I thought that it was great communications. I also felt like where Willa was coming from was valid, and I also understood Willa and why she did what she did, because I kind of would have felt the same way. So I understood it. And then Cade is just, I literally can't. I love that man. I can't wait to reread this book. I don't know when I'm gonna reread it, but I can tell you I'm gonna reread it. That's how good it was. Cade can get it anytime. He is officially added to my book boyfriend list. I want you guys to read this book so bad. Definitely read Funny Feelings and Heartless. But Heartless, I mean, they were both just amazing. Heartless, though, is just a whole different vibe. It is just, the smut was amazing. The hot tub scenes, I know I already said that, but you know what a scene that lives rent-free in my head? It's the scene in the kitchen at the birthday party. If you know that scene. I was like, this is perfection. This is gems. Just a gem. I just love this book. I really do. I binged it. I literally couldn't stop reading it. And I also joined a live show where they were interviewing Elsie Silver, and just the interactions, the way that Elsie is, I just ended up falling with her. Like, I ended up falling in love with the author, and I can't wait to read Elsie Silver's backlist, because I know the third book in this series, the Flawless, Heartless, the third book is gonna be Powerless, and that's gonna be, I think, a Friends to Lovers, but it's gonna be angsty because you find about it in Heartless. But I don't know when Powerless is gonna come out, probably not till next year. And I want to read more of Elsie Silver, and I want to start reading her backlist, and I'm just so excited. I found a new favorite author. I have, and I just love when I do, because it's just, It's amazing. I love it. I love the found family. Hank, is that his name? No. Kate's father, he is so funny. He really just is a gem in the family as well. I loved seeing snippets of Summer and Reds. I loved that Willa went to go see Cade on a horse doing what he do. I loved the playfulness between Willa and Luke. I loved the dancing in the kitchen. I'm gonna just shut up about it because you guys just need to read this book. You guys need to experience the level of greatness that is this book. Okay, now moving on. Now we can talk about Love in Other Words. I know I already said my thoughts so far, so I'm just gonna go over some of my annotations and see if there is like more things that I can say about this book. I am currently reading this. This is the book that I'm currently reading, and this is the book that you guys are probably gonna watch me read because all the other ones I have already read and given my thoughts. I love that there is emails in this book. I love that Macy's mom left her dad a list of rules / notes. Like that literally melted my heart. Like I loved it. I loved it so much. I loved the rule number 1, don't spoil her with toys, spoil her with books. And I was like, period. I was like, yes. I loved the way that Macy and Elliot met. I think that's super cute. I love that she has that reading nook in her closet. That is just like literally goals. I love that she found a friend that she can be herself around, you know? It's just so good. I already know it's gonna be so good. Oh my god, when Elliot and her are talking in the restaurant, he's like, it was always my plan to live wherever you were. That plan failed, but I figured my odds of seeing you again were pretty good back in Berkeley. He moved back because his odds were greater that he would see her again. He was like, I'm so dead. I just be eating this up too. He said, you knew that. You had to have known that I'd be here waiting. And then he says, this part a little bit killed me in my heart because he was like, she said, I swallow a sip of water quickly to reply. I don't think I knew that you were still hoping I'd. And then he says, I loved you. And it's emphasized and it's ED. But like we both know that he still loves her, but like he's like, I loved you. Like, of course I would do all these things, you know? We love a guy that falls first. Definitely falls first trope, friends to lovers trope. Probably gonna be forced proximity because they're back in the same town. I mean, not like super forced proximity, but amazing, absolutely amazing. He says, you loved me too, you know? He says quietly, it was everything. Also, last thing I'm gonna say, I love the relationship between Macy and her dad. It is just so heartwarming and like endearing, and just I just love it. I love my dad, so when I see like daughter-father relationships that are like done well, I guess, or just the ones that hit, you know, I just love it. Like there's this part where Macy is like unloading some of her thoughts and feelings to Elliot while they were like in the past, like when they were little. Her dad had put her into this thing because she needed to make more friends because her mother passed away, and it was really a grieving like group thing. And she noticed that every girl had bob, like they had a short hair, but she didn't. She has long, beautiful hair. She goes, but my dad learned how to put my hair in ponytails, what kind of shampoo to buy. He even had someone teach him how to braid and use the curling iron for special occasions. He could have done what was easiest for him and just cut it all off, but he didn't. For the first time, I looked up to see Elliot watching me. His eyes were wide with understanding, and he reached over and took one of my hands. Did I ever tell you that I have my mom's hair? I said. He shook his head but gave me a real smile. I think you have the prettiest hair I've ever seen. Yeah, I loved that. Like, I loved that. Like, he knows that his daughter looks so much like his wife, and he was so in love with his wife. And Macy says, you know, like, he will never find like another love. Like, he won't find someone like his wife. Like, that was his true love, you know? And it's just so heartbreaking, but it's also just so, like, it warms my heart. And yeah, she tells that, and I was like, oh my god, like, he really, like, he cared. Like, he cared. She has this beautiful hair, and it reminds him of his wife, and he took the time to learn and appreciate that, and learn how to take care of her and not just take the easy way out, you know? Which, you know, you can't fault fathers, especially if they're grieving, how they react, but it just shows you, like, that he truly loved his wife, that his daughter looks like his wife, and his daughter has his wife's hair, and he he couldn't part with that, you know what I mean? Anyways, I think I'm just rambling at this point and I'm digging too deep into it, but I love that part. I am on page 107, so I will probably read like on a break or on my lunch, and I will take you guys with me. I'm excited to dive back in and sipping on my coffee, and I will update you guys when I can. Hi guys, so I'm back to update you guys on Love in Other Words, the last book that I'm reading for this vlog. Don't mind my hair. I need to wash my hair like yesterday, and then my pelitos are just sticking out. You know, we're just going with the flow, okay? And I'm comfy. It's a rainy day outside, and I want to finish up this vlog for you guys. So I did end up finishing Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. Here are my tabs. I ran out of orange, so I had to use pink, but that's okay. So here are my thoughts. This book was amazing. It really was. I loved the past and present. I loved the relationship development. I loved that it was friends to lovers and that they started off so young, because you could truly see their like love for each other grow, and it was just so genuine and just so real. And I also really loved the fact that they bonded over books. Like that just hits me in the heart. Like I loved that, and I loved that they would ask each other their favorite words every time they would see each other. And the thing is though that they were friends to lovers, but they were friends to lovers like long distance, because she would only see him on the weekends and maybe even like months afterward. So like I loved the emails, I loved the phone calls, I loved it all. I loved the cabin feel, I loved the fall feel, I loved the teenage growth that you see, you know, like how Macy sees Elliot grow, and like when he hits puberty, and how friendship turns into something more, and just the things that Elliot would say, like the things that he would say but not say, and then the things that he would actually say. The phone call of that one night when he like literally says all those things to her, I loved it. It was just so sweet. It was so good. It was really, really good. I know everybody probably has already read this book, but for me, and if you haven't read it, I thought it was great. I definitely recommend, especially in this season. I do have a couple of issues, and I am still kind of unsure of my rating. So the main thing for me was that I was loving this read, and I was really hoping that the reason why they hadn't seen each other for so long had to be good, because if it wasn't, it would just destroy the story, you know what I mean? Like it wouldn't have been worth it. But I think the more that I think about the reason why they weren't together for so long, it makes a lot more sense. And now, like when I was reading like more towards the end, I predicted it. I kind of predicted it. It was predictable at a certain point, but it didn't take away from the story. I like how everything went down when Elliot leaves his relationship, like literally right after seeing Macy. I didn't like that Macy didn't do the same. Like I was like, bitch, like why are you still with this other dude when you know like clearly that you are not in love with him? You may love him, but you're not in love with him like you are in love with Elliot. And so that part was frustrating to me, but at the same time, the way that Macy grew up and all of the trauma that she has explains her actions. Like her actions are valid because she is so scared of letting people in and loving people, because she thinks that they will end, they will die, go away, etc. You know what I mean? She has trust issues like that, and they're valid. She loses her mom like right at the beginning of the book, and this is something that her and Elliot actually bond over, and where she feels like she's not different. Like Elliot doesn't treat her differently. He's actually there and supportive and actually wants to listen to her talk about her mom, you know, like, and learn about her and all of that. I just loved it. It was so good. It was very emotional as well. You could feel how deep their love was. Like, you can tell that they were soulmates. Second thing that I didn't like is when we found out the reason. I guess skip this part because it's gonna be spoilers, because I want to talk about it because it has to do with my rating as well. So just skip this part. I will put a timestamp that you can skip to, but I'm about to talk about the reason. So the reason being is that she went to this party that Elliot was, like, she drove there because she had gotten this phone call from him, and he was at a party and he was drunk and he was saying all these things to her, and she was like, I really wish that he would have told me these things like in person and not when he was drunk, so it could have been more like truthful, I guess, or like more honest, more genuine. And so she talks to her dad and she's like, let me drive up there, like, let me just drive up there, I need to see him, like, I need to talk to him. And she goes up there and she pulls up to this party, and when she pulls up to this party, she finds Elliot drunk, passed out in a bed, naked, with his pants down, his dick out, and this other girl, Emma, we know Emma, she's laying on top of him, sleeping naked. Like, we could assume what had happened, right? So this is what happened. And when she leaves, obviously she assumed that he cheated on her, because I mean, when you see that, like, what else are you gonna think? You know what I mean? So she leaves, she goes to her cabin. The thing here that I wish was explored was that Elliot would have never done that. Like, he would have never done anything with Emma because he made it really clear to Macy how things stood between them. He was super drunk, and I am thinking that he got sexually assaulted because he is literally in bed, drunk as hell, passed out with his pants off and his shirt like up. Like, they didn't even get fully undressed. And later on in the book, you are told that Elliot, it took him a long time to be able to be physical with somebody again after Macy. And we don't know whether that's because he was sexually assaulted or because he was just, you know, heartbreak. But I mean, it also talks about how he, like, when a girl was gonna go down on him, he like was like crying and trying to explain to that other woman why he couldn't let her go down on him, because like, I feel like he had trauma. So I'm like, if he had so much trauma, then I mean, I'm guessing that it was sexual assault, but it wasn't explored, it wasn't said, it was open-ended. And I wish that it was more actively explained, like, I really do. Also, when he starts to explain to Macy why, what to him, his POV of what happened that night was that he was super drunk, and like, he remembers getting head, but he remembers it being Macy, and he remembers like her, like it was her that he was seeing. So that was his excuse. You know, it's not the right excuse, it's an excuse basically, but that's how he sees it. And obviously he's horrified by it. Yeah, so that wasn't explained, and I was just like, I wish that Macy would have been able to take a step back and maybe see the scene differently. But at the same time, like, she was young, she has all these issues, she just saw what was right in front of her. I don't think she stopped to think because she was too heartbroken, like she was feeling too much. And then everything that happens after that, I was like, okay, then it makes this other thing a lot more valid, because she places blame on Elliot for the things that led after that night. So I thought the reason was good. If the whole other thing that happened after that night didn't happen, I feel like it wouldn't have been a good enough reason, because she should have let him explain and answered his phone calls. But because of that extra thing that happened, it makes sense. So yes, I guess those are all the only two things. Macy not breaking up with the man that she was with, and two, it was the not overall explained, you know, like the not overall explained of what happened that night and the trauma that it might have caused to Elliot. So after I finished reading the book, I was kind of left like, I don't know what to rate this, because it's not bad, but I didn't feel how I feel when I read Heartless, you know. So I first rated it 4 stars on Goodreads, but honestly, I really think it's more like a 4.5, because do I really want to knock off a whole star for those two things? But at the same time, like, even if I do 4.5, it's closer to a 4 because I don't think it's a 5 star. So I don't know. Right now, I'm keeping it at a 4 star on Goodreads. I mean, I loved the book. Like, I think it's a great book. I also brought my other copy of Love in Other Words. This is the newest copy. I don't know if you can still get this copy, but yeah, I bought the fucking new cover without even fucking reading this book. So now I have 2 copies of it, and I'm just like, do I really want 2 copies of it? But I love the cabin. Like, I get the details now. The letters, the candles, the journal, the coffee, the books with the pencils. Like, I get it, you know? Yeah, this is basically the new cover for Love in Other Words. I really loved it. There were so many things that I loved about it. I loved the dad as well. Like, he was one of my favorite things about this book. I loved it. I really did. I really, really loved it. Like, it brings a smile to my face. So I am sticking with 4 stars because 4 stars is still good. 4.5, really, truly, 4.5 stars, but I'm giving it a 4 on Goodreads. I definitely think you should read. I definitely think it's worth it. Just check trigger warnings. I'm glad that I got a physical read off of my bookshelf because I needed to finish this for this vlog. Maybe whenever I do reread it, I will tab this one. But honestly, like, which cover do you guys like better? Because I low-key love this cover. Like, I just love the orange, and then I like the cutout papers and then the hearts. But I also loved this one. I loved all the details and then the raised title. I feel like with all of the doodles, they should have kept all of the doodles, but instead of pink, they should have done more of a fall color. You know what I mean? I think it would have been better, but that's just my opinion. Anyways, that is the last book for this vlog. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you guys have read any of these books down below in the comments, and what your ratings were, what your thoughts were on all these books. Try not to leave any spoilers because people might not have read any of these. If you don't want to comment any of that, let's leave a stack of books emoji because this story just revolves around books a lot, so I feel like that is very fitting for this vlog. Plus, I don't think there's a cabin emoji, but there is. You can comment that one too. Again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.